Of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can.
Well, the Texas State Public Safety Department director criticizing the slow response by police to the school massacre in Uvalde and says the killer had brought more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition.
We also know police waited more than an hour to go inside the school despite hearing all the gunshots. When asked where the school resource officer was, the director simply said he was not on campus, and he couldn't say where that officer was, only that they will have answers down the road.
All of it further infuriating the families of the victims. Local 10's Bridget Matter live in Uvalde with the very latest on this investigation. Bridget.
Police really under scrutiny over the new information and the timeline that has now been released. We told you yesterday that the reason for the wait was they wanted to wait for a tactical team to get on scene to breach that door. Today we have learned that tactical team was on scene for 35 minutes while that gunman was still in the classroom. There were also 19 officers in the school on campus while this was all going on. They did not breach the door because they believed this was a barricaded subject versus an active shooter situation, which means the protocol is different. Instead of breaching, they waited for janitor keys to unlock the door and get in. The Uvalde Texas Town Square serves as a mourning site for loved ones and the community.
Gracias por haberla regalado su familia.
A growing memorial of flowers amid white crosses of the 21 victims killed in the Robb Elementary School mass shooting. Friday, police released a more detailed timeline of the school shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers. We now know a door was propped open by a teacher at 11:27. The gunman would enter the school at 11:33. This is a map of the shooter's path into the joined classroom of room 111 and room 112, where he would barricade himself inside. Police admit mistakes were made.
For the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that.
Officers were on scene at 11:44, but wouldn't breach the door until 12:50, more than an hour later. All while 19 officers stood in the hallway waiting for janitor keys to open the door. That is how police finally got into the classroom.
There was a barrage. Hundreds of rounds were pumped in 4 minutes, okay, into those 2 classrooms. Then anything else, any firing afterwards was sporadic, and it was at the door. So the belief is that there may not be anybody living anymore, and that the subject is now trying to keep law enforcement at bay or entice them to come in to suicide by contact.
And outside, parents plea with police to do more. Children and teachers made numerous 911 calls during the shooting, but police believed it was a ruse, thinking the shooter was trying to entice police to come in. This is a rough timeline of 911 calls placed by a person in room 112. There was a call placed at 12:03. It lasted 23 seconds. This person called back 7 minutes later, telling police there were several people dead. The caller places 2 calls and says there are about 8 or 9 students still alive. At 12:21, a 911 call from the school recorded 3 gunshots. We also heard several accounts from children who played dead to survive.
When he went in the classroom, he said, "You're all gonna die," and he just started shooting. I was playing dead, so he won't shoot me.
Another little girl says she heard the gunman say goodnight before shooting her teacher. He then stopped shooting at one point, playing what she described as sad music. That little girl also added that she felt she was in there for 3 hours and asked, "Where are police?" The other question we had was, this person was the shooter was barricaded in there. We know that the doors, both doors, there were 2 doors to this adjoined classroom, were unlocked. They were locked. They were locked from the inside, but it's unclear if the doors were barricaded with something else. Guys.
There are no words. These details just so heartbreaking. And Bridget, we do know that police also mentioned how many rounds were fired at the school. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, they say most of the rounds were fired in the beginning. They also say there were more than 100 rounds. They found 58 magazines in the school and 31 in a backpack that he didn't take in. Oh. For now, we're live in Uvalde, Texas. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.